Bam and Dannii, thank you so much for joining me on Misunderstood. It is such a pleasure and an honor to have you guys here.
Thank you.
So we are all in town. Well, I live here, but we are in town for the bare knuckle fighting championship. We were all there last night. What did you guys think of it?
It was phenomenal because
Wasn't it amazing?
I don't like pads. I never liked it during skating. You know, even if there's the best skate park here in Boca and you have to wear pads, ain't going to it. So when I found out about bare knuckle boxing, I was like, I'm going. And we got front row seats.
Yep.
And they said, do you know you're in the splatter zone? I'm like, what does that mean? It means that you might get bloodshed. I'm like, let's go. And there was. It is the real deal. And I actually, you know, I've wanted to do this because I've realized that when I had to stop skating, I love getting beaten up. I love getting knocked out. It makes my adrenaline flow like I was landing a skate trick again. So I'm in an all-win situation. If I beat you up, yay. If you beat me up, double yay.
You were in an all-win situation last night when you had two hot dates. So
very true.
That was Rachel and I's first date, holding on to each other while they beat each other.
Yeah,
so.
We couldn't look at all. We were like, oh my God, holding on to the little chickens. And
well, just so you know, they're loving every minute of it. They go home feeling like they were in a war, and if they love to fight, whether they win or lose, they're going home happy.
Yeah. I love that you felt like I felt. Like I was like, I feel bad for them.
I know. We were feeling bad for them, but they looked like they were very happy. What I found very interesting is you were like the most famous person in the room. And I thought that was actually really cool. I was shocked at your star power. I mean, not that I didn't know what it was, but people were obsessed. Every man in there had a crush on you, first of all. And then I was actually really touched to see these men who look like they've just gotten out of prison. They're so scary and tough, coming up to you and wanting to connect with you by sharing a story about how they know you, how they remember you, what you meant to them.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the end of the night, that one guy that came up to you and was like, hey, Bam, we almost lost you. I'm so happy you're here. Kind of almost brought me to tears. I was like, wow. And how does that make you feel?
It feels great to know that people care. But when I was that bad, I didn't know I was that bad. Now I look at it back, I was like, I was on the brink of death. I really was. Yeah. I woke up 8 days on life support with a tube down my throat because I couldn't breathe on my own from 5 20-minute seizures in a row. Never had a seizure in my life until I was 44. I was on 18 different medications and staying up for about 3 days on alcohol, and cocaine didn't help either. But that was when I, you know, considered that's when you hit a rock bottom. It's hard for somebody. When you think of rock bottom, you think of being homeless on the street with no friends. Your family told you to go kick rocks and you have nowhere to go. Well, that's not my case. So, you know, rock bottom for me was waking up 8 days. I woke up, I thought I was there for 20 minutes. I'm like, what happened? They're like, you've been here for 8 days.
Wow.
And we just ripped a tube down your throat. I'm like, is that why I feel like I sucked on Darth Vader's dick? It's like sandpaper throat.
Oh my gosh. So how long have you been sober at this point?
So August 1st is when, although I had a moment, we had our first fight in Scotland. Because
we've had some moments, you know, I mean, it's not like I'm going to just step in as the missus here. I mean, it hasn't been rainbows, but the perspective of the others on the outside don't know. And there hasn't been anything crazy. Everyone knows Bam, so I don't need to say anything. Right. However, there hasn't been anything that needs to be like of a concern. Yeah. There's just hiccups, right? You know, and I think that that's something he needs to just let the world know of, because they see him and they love him. Trolls are trolls, but the real people that care want to know his story. So
what's different this time? Why is it going to work this time?
Well, because every time I went to treatment before, it was a sabotage situation. Hey, Bam, all your friends and family want to take you to your favorite restaurant. Ruth Chris, do you want to go? It's your birthday. Yeah, I'd love to go. And then it's just a table full of people like, it's not a dinner at Ruth Chris. We want to send you to... I'm like, you sons of bitches. So I go there, take hundreds of classes about how alcohol's not good and it's pretty bad, only to know, so Bam, when you get out, what are you going to do? I'm going to sip on a White Claw because F all y'all. Right. That's why. But when I met her,
meaning because it was their time that they wanted you to get clean.
Yeah,
and sober.
like
it wasn't
if you don't
your
want
time.
yourself to get clean, it's not going to work. Just because your mom or dad wants you to, no, it's not going to work. Right. You have to want it.
Right.
But she gave me the ultimate ultimatum: her poussoir or the vodka. I'm like, shit, I really like vodka, but I'm going to go with the first option, and I'm happy with my decision.
And I will say to the world that I can back this up: there has been zero vodka since August, and I want that to be very clear out there. That there has been zero vodka and zero drugs.
What was your drug or drink of choice?
Or liquor, I should say.
Well, I had a prescription for Adderall for about 13 years. And then when I would drink on it, I would eat them like Skittles.
Wow.
And then after that, anybody that would offer me anything at a nightclub, I'd probably say yeah, unless it's crack or heroin.
Right.
But I mean, but
I want to like tune in though, like when we first met, we'll get into all that. But there was, when we were at the Rainbow Room, the waiter comes over. And as a bartender here in this town, I was tipped things, as we know, slide a napkin, whatever, to see what your style is. I mean, it was like our first date at the Rainbow Room, noon, pizza, and they were trying to give him stuff at the table.
Wow.
Okay, like the waiter was like, hey, Bam, come here. So when you're in that position, I mean, I'm not an innocent
it was
person
actually a
over
loke
here.
dog. It wasn't a waiter.
Whatever it was at
But
the
meaning
table.
that there are people that
It's
just want to
everywhere.
enable you because
And
they want to
party
be your
with
friend. They want to be a part
Totally.
of the story, whatever it is.
And if you're not a skater or a good musician that I want to work with, then our only connection would be being a drinking buddy or
Exactly.
sharing a moment in the bathroom, do a little snooty snout.
Right.
While we're getting pizza.
Right. So it seems like you found a purpose, though, in finding a new life.
Yes.
And now we have Dannii. So,
I knew things had to change, or else I wouldn't be around much longer. Like I was pulling all day awake for 3 days straight, and then I would sleep for 2,
Right.
and then I would feel like such crap that I would know that this hair of a dog situation, waking up knowing that you're so ill from alcohol, if I have a beer, I'm going to feel better. If I have another one, I'm going to feel even better. And then if I have another one, I'm going to feel great. And then so on and so forth. By midnight, I'm blacked out again, only to do it over and over again. It's a terrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
But when you get out of that, it's like dreadful to go to the gym when you're hungover, but when you're on day number 7 and you commit, you're looking forward to it now.
right. So I know this story because of last night, but I want to hear from you, and I know our listeners want to hear the point you were at when you met her.
Yeah.
Because I know you were at, let's not call it rock bottom, but you were done.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't want to wake up. I really don't care if I wake up. And then you found her. Talk about how you met her and where you were at.
So I flew into Los Angeles. I checked into the Sunset Marquee. I was having an ongoing 2-year custody battle. I basically just got out of the longest Guinness Book of World Records of Florida Shuffle. If you don't know what that means, it means that if the interventionist knows that you have good insurance, they'll find reasons to keep you there for eternity. So I would make it 88 days because if you get Baker acted, it's a 90-day thing. So I would make it 88 days. I'm like, I'm getting out in 2 days. He would make up any reason. He'd be, you've been wearing that same jacket for like 3 days now. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to get a pussy around here. I don't care. That's bad hygiene. You're doing another 90 days. Do another 88 days. Flick a cigarette out into a bush, and they filmed it smoking like any cigarette would. And he's like, you could lit this whole national forest on fire. You're doing another 90 days. So they kept me there for 2.5 years, $660,000, $1,300 a piece. And all the pills that they gave me were side effects of weight gain, stiff muscles, erectile dysfunction, hair loss, all this stuff. So I was very depressed. And I had 4 different lawsuits, one with Jackass, which we could talk about later, another one with a custody battle issue, another one with, Nikki thinking that we're married, but you have to be a resident of Iceland. We never signed any paperwork. Another one with some idiot doing a drunken wheelie at my house. He got in trespassing, don't even know the guy, but I was at a Post Malone concert, and because he broke his foot, he wants to own the house. So I'm having like 50 grand a month on lawsuits. And not to mention, I just put $1 million for treatment, and every day I'm not looking forward to because it's ring, ring, ring. What bad news is it? Ooh,
Right.
I'm like, I am checking into the Sunset Marquee to check out. And I got enough drugs and enough alcohol. I had these random nobodies in the room that were just ordering anything. I'm like, order whatever you want because
Family,
it's not going to
kids.
matter to me.
Wow.
We're in there.
So
It's crazy.
I said, Jesus, tap dancing Christ. If I wake up, F you, but if I do, you better deliver me the hottest eye candy with 8-cup tits and a tan pit bull. And hopefully, she does something productive, which worked out perfectly for me because she's a stretch coach. And they said that my legs were dry rotted rubber bands from alcohol abuse in 2013. The doctor said that. Mm-hmm. So when I woke up, I'm like, thanks for nothing. I'll give you a week. And I sit by the pool and I just overhear her. Listen, I'm 43. I'm Sicilian and Irish, born in Jersey. And I just turn my head. I'm like, who are you? She's like, well, I'm a stretch coach and, I do the runway on this model. I'm like, and then we start talking and hitting it off. And she's like, you know what? I really like you. I got to go walk my dog. Do you want to come with me? I'm like, what kind of dog? She's like, a tan pit bull. I'm like, Thank you, God. Yes, Earth
Emma.
Angel.
So had you heard of him before? Did you know who he was?
You know what? Thanks for asking that because no one really asks me that. And yes and like no. So just, I moved from here. I was here for 17 years and just decided to get out of town for a minute. I got booked in LA, booked to LA Fashion Week, drove to LA from here with the dogs, not expecting anything. And the strike hit. So, $4,000 a month in rent, car payment that I didn't, and even the car I didn't think would make it back. But I just ended up meeting these girls. We'll get into another time. Not my cup of tea. We're not cut from the same cloth. However, I was invited to the pool party. And my mom basically said,
Come to the pool party. Celebrities are going to be.
she was like, celebrities are here. I was like, puke. I hate all these people. I should have never come here, even though it was my second time. I lived there when I was 19.
Right.
Going back in your 40s, I thought I made a big mistake. I was also kind of depressed. People don't understand that I was going through a lot. I signed a fake lease. I was living in my car for a couple of days. It was a lot, and then the strike hit. So I was going to go back to being a bartender at Sky Bar. But I'm like, I'm just going to go back to Miami and live my life. I have, clients. I'm a professional dog walker. I'm a stretch coach. I have a life here,
Wow.
So I was on I was calling my friend Buddha.
I just got chills, by the way. I love that you're telling this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
I haven't
Okay, go
said it
ahead.
much, but I don't even think I even got this deep with Dannii because we were having just so much fun about filet mignon and everything else. But so I was going through my own things. And when you leave Koreatown, your car, there's no parking.
Okay.
LA is a disaster. So my mom and Heather, I have to give her a shout out. She was going through a lot and couldn't go to the pool party. And I said, well, maybe we should go to the movies. And she's like, no, you should go. I'm going to stay home with Max, rest in peace, her dog that passed. And my mom's like, you didn't go to LA to stay in bed, honey. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. You never let girls bother you. What's wrong? And I'm like, okay. So I got dressed. I said the dogs, I would be back. Heather gave me our twinning LA hat that I wore, and I went alone, which is not easy in LA at 43, to show up to celebrities are here. So I just went, and the minute I went, they turned on me, and I guess we can talk about this. He had hooked up with one of them the day before.
No, I took a shower with them.
Whatever.
Okay.
So she had a crush, and then the girl that brought me didn't bring me. She invited me. Is kind of like this crazy ringleader. I don't want to, she'll know who she is when she hears this, but she's not a good person. And she's a cyberbullier. But anyway, I went and I showed up and sat alone. The girls turned on me immediately, how they are. And that's kind of how it went. I don't drink at all anymore, but that was the day I was like, fuck it. I'm going to have a couple rosés. I'm going to sit in LA, wonder why I came here.
Right.
And that was it, talking like this. And he literally slid over. And I don't remember knowing exactly who he was. And I, obviously walked Jackass before, but we're the same age. And my mom made us get jobs. So I wasn't sitting, not sitting, so nobody get offense, but it wasn't our time. It was on the TV or not.
Right.
It's not ridiculous now where it's all over the TV.
Over, yeah.
So I just was like, okay, cool. And I'm like, he's kind of cute. And then they made up a bunch of rumors.
Which I don't know what you're thinking because we saw a photo when we first met. I have no hair from the pills and I look like Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
I look back at the photos, I'm like, he was pretty
look like I've been up all night. I'm like,
Oh my God.
So, but we just started connecting and you've met him, you've hung out. It's electric, it's fun. And I didn't have friends there besides Heather. So,
And he was kind to
And
you.
he was kind and we were just hanging out. So it just became, and I have a lot of guy friends. So it just became whatever. And I feel like he felt comfortable with me and we just hung out and the girls got real mad.
Well, I'm wondering, obviously the girls knew who you were and probably wanted something from you, and that was probably the difference.
yes. And the fact that they invited her only for me when I met her, we were attached at the hip.
It was
And to the
instant.
point where they couldn't even sit down next. We were just so involved.
Right. They couldn't infiltrate.
And
that.
I could see it ticked them off pretty bad. And
So then we hung out though, and then we ended up going out with everybody, and then they got mad that we didn't ride in the car. It was this whole thing, and I'm like, I don't even know these people.
Right.
I'm 43. I can do what I want, you
Yeah.
know? So to make you laugh, it turned into going home at 2 a.m. when they were like, oh, we heard you were smoking meth upstairs and you left crying. I'm like, I have 2 dogs. I had to go. We actually made out in my car before
Right.
I left. So then I went home, and the next day I had to work out at the gym. Almost broke my foot, which I told you. Dropped the weight. Long story longer. He called at 4
I
o'clock.
like your commitment, though. You woke up
And
at 5
I did
a.m. and
go
still powered out
after
the
getting
gym.
home at 2 and not drinking for almost a year. But yeah, the next day he called, we went to the Rainbow Room, and we have not been apart since that day.
And it's also a
Amazing.
cool situation on her end too, because she was in a very toxic relationship with the professional baseball player dude who she said, if I don't leave now, it's going to end very, very bad, like a Dateline episode. So when he
Hold on,
saw
before you
us
say
holding
that,
hands
I wanna, like,
on TMZ,
yeah.
he was driving to find her to either beat me up or beat her up or both of us. But
Right.
I want to just be clear,
yeah.
because I was in a 9-year relationship before. It wasn't him. It was just somebody I was with after very briefly,
Right.
who just was not a good. He unfortunately passed away. But long story short, I want to clear that up because some people know I was with somebody for 9 years, but this was someone after. But he was a bad guy, and he was
Right.
hurting a lot of girls here.
And that's part of why you left.
That's a lot of reason why I left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love this story. So now you guys have been together for a year
It'll be a year next week.
and you just got married.
Just
Yeah.
got married.
How did that happen?
So we were filming a movie in New Mexico, right
Rosanna
outside
and
of
Ricky.
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
It was like a
Mexico.
fun little ghost hunter movie with some zombies and stuff. But
Collecting souls.
I had a 5-day trial of Nikki trying to say that we're married because she had a wedding dress on at an event in Iceland and I gave her a kiss. I'm like, that does not mean we're married. We never exchanged wedding rings. We never even gave vows, and we never signed anything because you have to be a resident of Iceland to make it for real, which I didn't know at the time.
Okay.
So
wait, and for people that don't know who Nikki is, that was your ex.
yes.
Okay. And is she the mother of your
Phoenix.
child? Okay.
Phoenix, who I love so much. We could get into that later.
Yeah.
But 2 days into the trial, 6 hours a day, we're 3 hours into the second day, and the judge says, let's take a little break, only for everybody's phones to blow up on TMZ. He says, Bam gets married in New Mexico today. Her lawyer's flipping out saying, is this real? Is her really last name? Is it stamped and approved? I'm like, oh, it's stamped and approved. I want to show you guys what a real marriage is, but we planned this since October.
Right.
And
Quietly, we were trying, but his world is so hard.
and then they pushed the court date back a week, so it happened to fall on the same day.
Right.
So the judge gets back and he's like, so you got married today? I'm like, yeah, that's happening now. The reception. I just came up here for 4 hours to, do this. And the judge actually said, I'm really sorry to take time away from your big day. I'm like, it's okay, Your Honor. It is what it is. But like, what are you going to do now? Like, if you think that we're married, this is a real marriage. It's
Right.
stamped, it's signed, it's approved.
And
Right.
it was something that we just,
And
we
what a
tried
waste
in
of
Puerto
time.
Rico, and it was Puerto Rico just wanted blood basically. And then we were trying to do it quietly to do something after with family.
Okay.
Because of the press and how it gets.
Did you propose to her? or
Yeah,
was it
I
in
did. I
October?
did it. The Duff,
Random.
the Duff.
It was so
Ed
random.
Duff is a pro skateboarder. He rides for Birdhouse, Tony Hawk's company, and his dad owns Duff Electric, which powers 10% of Philadelphia. So they have a lot of land around Bucks County, and I really like this property along the Delaware River, and we just happened to randomly pass it as we were make it out and listening to awesome. I was like, there it is. So I pull over at midnight and I just propose to her. I throw the 2 rings out into the land, which we still haven't found yet.
What?
But so
It wasn't-
in
it was
New
just
Mexico,
random and fun.
we
But so it wasn't something you planned and knew you were going to get down on one knee. It was just a
But
feeling you
I
had.
already knew the second we met that
Yeah.
she was the one. It is like what I asked for happened instantly. She has stretched my legs back to 100%. I thought I could never skate again. I tried to drop it on a 3-foot mini ramp from treatment, actually in Boca, Deerfield, Life Skills.
Yeah.
They let me skate one day on the 18 pills I
Let
was
me
on.
skate one day.
I fell so hard dropping in, which I could do with my eyes closed, switch stance. I hyperextended my elbow. It won't go straight anymore, and I broke my wrist for the 15th time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, I can't be getting hurt anymore like this. But when I talked to her, she's like, don't listen to that doctor. I'm going to stretch you an hour a day. Now they are back 100%, and all I want to do is skate.
Yeah.
Besides F.
Well, you could say it. Okay. You can say whatever you want. Okay, talk about Collecting Souls for a second. It's a movie that you guys both did. You starred in it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so did you.
Yeah.
Tell
was
us
super
a little
fun.
bit about it.
So it's I really like the fact that it's Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds, who I love.
Wow.
He was so fun.
And the dude from Blindside, the main guy, the
No
7
way.
foot tall. So he's a ghost hunter, and I'm playing a ghost hunter. She's playing a girl that works at the haunted mansion.
It's actually like burlesque dancers
Yeah.
are
But
into
did
the
you
ghost hunting.
executive produce this, or you guys were just actors in it?
She's the main star in
main
it,
girls.
and I'm in it as well. But
It's an independent film
Yeah.
that just came up with a very good friend of ours, Jim Burleson,
Yeah.
who owns the New Mexico HorrorCon. And he's just always making fun movies. And we wanted to work together. They asked us at one of the HorrorCons, like, hey, do you want to get in on this? And it ended up being so fun enough to
Good.
where, you know, in the business, no one, you know, it's hard to connect, especially with after Me
Yeah.
Too and all these things. And it literally felt like a family, hence why I continued to make the decision to get married there first before
Right.
having a big thing, because Socorro, New Mexico is a place that deserves attention. The people are so nice. And Jim was just like,
And I heard people were like in costume when they
oh,
were
we
at
had
the
like,
wedding,
we
right?
surprised the whole set. Like
wow.
I literally told a few of them the day before, like some of the cameramen, like, hey, there's a surprise tomorrow. And they were like, what is it? And
my God, I
I
love
told
that.
them, I said,
Yeah.
we're going to get married. Don't tell the crew because I don't want people to change. You know, we had already had a date for the 27th on Monday, but it was Memorial Day.
Got it.
Because we met on the 27th. That was my original plan that
And-
nobody knows until right now.
And this historic Hotel Verde is now like a landmark for our wedding that people want to Airbnb and visit.
Because remember, I didn't realize the way TMZ and all this works.
Which
and
room
public
did they
record,
stay
the
in?
minute you apply at the courthouse, they know.
Yes, I do know
So I
that.
said, well, if they're going to see that, then I'm doing it right after to where I can have my few minutes of time with my friends to let them know before they run the story.
Right.
So that's how it organically worked out. This was nothing in regards to an ex. This has been planned, and I wasn't going to let a court date interrupt my plan.
So do you guys think you'll have a bigger wedding?
Yeah.
at some
Yeah,
point?
we want to do
Definitely.
it sometime in November. And
this year?
one of my favorite artists,
Yeah.
his name is Yellow Wolf. Eminem signed him a little bit ago, even though I've known him
Great.
since I was 13. But
Oh, he's single.
yeah, and he lives in Nashville right now, but he wants to be the Reverend and play a couple songs. But we really like this band Tokyo Hotel, who they're twins, and Tom and Bill, and Tom married Heidi Klum. Bill on the other. So we really like Tokyo Hotel because they blew up in Germany. They're from Berlin. And when I was 16, I was really big over there too for Viva La Bam. So they were the biggest, youngest rock band over there, to the point where like BMW let them all pick out whatever BMW they wanted when they were 15. So when they were 16, they could drive it. Really big
He's
band, and I've
obsessed
been
with
friends with
them.
them for a long time.
Yeah, and they love him back. And then we have Amor a la Num in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But I have a whole like visual of our small little fun circle, and
Where do you think you'll do it?
that's kind of the hardest part for me. But Pennsylvania is so pretty. and it would be
Pennsylvania
so
works, and
easy
so
to
does
get
Charleston,
everybody
South
there.
Carolina,
I grew up in
but-
Charleston, so it's
yeah.
hard for me not to want to be there. But now I know there's a 3-year waiting list. There should be a local waiting list to get married.
So
there,
not
but
at the castle.
It could be.
we'll have girl talk.
Okay,
I'm still
so we'll
thinking,
figure it
but I have like this whole bohemian like Romeo Juliet, like very
Ooh,
simple.
gorgeous.
If you know, I think you met
Will
me.
the
and-
dogs walk down the aisle?
Well, they'll have to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Your dogs too.
Yeah, yeah.
Dogs everywhere.
And we want to reverse everything. My best men could be you, Kat
Yep.
Von D, Alyssa
Yep.
Whiteclaws from the band Arch
Yella's
Enemy,
mine.
and her best man could be her friend Buddha. And like,
My flower girl is Michael Lohan.
Oh my God, how funny. What a wedding that would be.
I love you.
Okay, wait. So you brought up your childhood. I want to talk a little bit
Yeah.
about that. I don't know that most people know, a little bit of your history. Talk about your family, who you grew up with, and how you got into skateboarding.
So, I grew up in Westchester, Pennsylvania, and I got bullied a lot because I was known as the kid who lived across the street from a sewer factory, like a sewer treatment center.
Wow.
So I got busted
never
on a lot
heard
about
this.
that by the jocks. And it determined me so much to become, I knew I wanted to be on TV. Once I found a skateboard at the age of 6, I knew that that's what I wanted to do, but I also wanted to be like some kind of funny stuntman also. So by the time I was 15, I started filming professional skateboard tricks as well as funny skits, stunts, like getting in a wheelbarrow and getting pushed off of a second-story balcony into a pricker bush,
But how
mixed
did you
with
even
skate-
know that you could do this? Were you like a loner? Were there a bunch of guys who were doing
Well,
this?
when
Like,
you're
how'd you get
jumping
into
down
it?
18 stairs on a skateboard for 2 hours, you learn how to fall and you learn how to take a good amount of pain. So I wanted to mix skateboard tricks with funny skits because when I was working on it, all my uncles who work at like an auto body shop would walk in and they would all sit down cracking up to this skateboard video that I thought would only appeal to skateboarders.
Right.
So once that happened, Jeff Tremaine and Spike Jones and Knoxville, they all approached me saying, we want to make a pilot for MTV called Jackass. Can we use your CKY video? I said, sure. So like a light switch, Jackass was really big and famous, but I already sold 1 million copies with CKY1, doing it on my own, selling it on mom and pop skate shops.
So is that how they found you? Like you weren't friends with these guys
No,
separately?
they knew me from being sponsored by like Toy Machine, which is a skateboard company. Then I got sponsored by Nike, first skater ever ride for Nike, thanks to Remy Stratton from Volcom. But yeah, I was well known in the skateboard community. And then when Jackass hit, like I had to quit school because all the people that busted on me, all the girls that I wanted to hang out or even date are now like, hey, do you want to come to this party on Friday? I'm like, you didn't even give me the time of day before. And now it was so fake to me that I quit the first day of 10th grade. Not only because I bet my buddy Rab himself to take a shit on a locker.
I can't.
And he got caught. What? So he got expelled and I felt at liberty to quit. Plus I knew that I was wasting time in there because I could be out in California getting on the cover of skate magazines.
Right.
And being here learning that Christopher Columbus discovered the ocean blue in 1492 does not matter to me.
It doesn't apply to you.
So,
right. Okay.
So the guidance counselor says, so you're quitting school to become a professional skateboarder? I go, yep. And he goes, and you think that's going to work? I'm like, I know it's going to work. He's like, skateboarding's a fad, and it's just going to die down, and you're going to be regretting this. You're going to be at the McDonald's drive-thru, and I'm like, shut up. You have no idea. And he's like, how do you know it's going to work? I'm like, because I have no plan B. I'm going to go there as my plan A, and I'm not going to come back till I get what I want. So 5 months later, I pull up with a red Ferrari, Medina, that Tony Hawk I got from the video game he put me in, and he directs traffic at the end of the day for all the kids. So you stop, no you go, no you stop, you go, and it's just me with the red Ferrari, and I just go, and I just peel off.
Wouldn't you have loved to have done that in high school?
Yeah,
I wish I could.
So wait, this is stunning to me. So you were in 10th grade when you became famous from Jackass.
Yeah.
So what age is that? 15?
I was about 18.
Oh, 18. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty amazing. So was there a pilot that was filmed at the beginning?
So they used a pilot with CKY1, which is what I filmed with Ryan Dunn, Brandon DiCamillo, Ray Keon, and Chris Rabb. And then I used my brother's band called CKY, who I got signed to Island Def Jam.
Okay.
Well, they did because of the video that sold a lot of copies.
Got it.
So because of that, they used my clips, and then the other 50% was new things that we filmed. So the whole first season, which is 1 hour episodes of 8 episodes, is all CKY1. I didn't have to film anything yet.
Oh, wow.
Second
Okay.
season is when I actually started filming.
I know a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. So talk about your relationship with these guys, Johnny, Steve-O, Wee Man, whatever. What did you think of them when you first met them?
I mean, it was fun, but is what I was into was like hardcore professional skateboarding. Right. So, I think it's kind of goofy to do a kickflip down 10 stairs in a tutu and a thong. That's not my thing. A Guinness Book of World Records of trying to juggle and do as many kickflips as you can is clown shit. I want to see Dannii Way do the longest and highest air Guinness Book at the same time. That's incredible.
Right.
Rocking a fucking piece of butt floss doing a skate trick is gay to me. But I can get gayer than a lake of pink fish if you give me some tequila. Anyway.
In 2023.
So finally it's Jackass 4. It's time to film. And keep in mind, in Jackass 2, I got high-fived for getting a felony charge, having brass knuckles at the LAX airport, because when my brother got signed to Island Def Jam, they gave me a gift of brass knuckles and diamonds that says Def Jam. So I threw it in my pink bag with an iPhone, not thinking anything of it, on a Friday night through LAX as I'm all airied up. And they go, you have brass knuckles at the airport. I'm like, yeah, what of it? They're like, that's illegal in the state of California. I'm like, well, I'm from the state of Pennsylvania. How the hell am I supposed to know that? I'm like, look, man, these are like $20,000. You could just have them. I need to make this flight. They're like, you're not making any flight. You're going to jail for a felony.
Wow.
So I had to pay $20,000 to get it expunged. But anyway, they high-fived me for good press, for being drunk and having brass knuckles as a felony. Now at the age of 44, I'm out at the Lux Hotel in Santa Monica, and I'm just drunk, simply belligerently drunk. But now I'm a liability.
Right.
And now they're contemplating me being in the movie or not. Knoxville and Tremaine sit me down. They make me pay $100,000 to go to 90 days of treatment. And if I screw up one bit, then I eat the $100,000, and I don't usually get the $5 million that I'm in when we do Jackass movies. So I'm like, if I even have a sip of a Miller's Light, I don't get $5 million. You're setting me up to fail.
Right.
So Now I go in on Adderall and alcohol, which I've been prescribed to for 13 years, introduced to me by Knoxville because he eats it like Skittles, and then he takes Xanax to go to bed. And I'm like, you're still doing it? He's like, yeah, but I don't wind up on TMZ like you. I'm like, you're a hypocrite. So I go in. They have me on bupropion, propanolol, Latuda, lithium, Strattera, Trazodone, Seroquel, Vistarol, Vivitrol, naltrexone, Risperdal. The list goes on to the point where I was such a fucking zombie that I couldn't even cry or come.
Right.
And they suicidal tendencies on all of them, which I had.
Yeah.
Hair loss, erectile dysfunction, stiff muscles, can't skate, can't fuck, can't do anything. And I'm like, if I stop taking these pills, then that means that I broke my contract and I don't get my $5 million.
Right.
So I stopped taking the pills. Well, looks like you broke the contract. Looks like you're not getting $5 million. Looks like you're not in a movie. What's the point of getting $5 million if I'm 6 feet in the ground? Yeah. So now I went to this bare knuckle boxing match. I need to take it out on somebody. And because Knoxville is such a fucking dick, I want to fight him big time. I will drop him like a DC-10. He's going down. Bare knuckle brawl. Why? Because he ruined my money makers. I was getting bone spurs in my feet. Didn't know why. Saw a lot of doctors. They say we could cut them out, but they're probably going to grow back worse. It happened. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm looking at a rerun 5 years later of Viva La Bam, and he revs a motorcycle. Ryan Dunn at 5 a.m. in my house. I run out of my room to see what's happening. He puts all these big sharp tacks on the ground that I step on. I'm like, fuck. So then I look at my feet. I hit pause, and I'm like, that's where it is. That's where it is. That's where it is. That's what he ruined my money makers. Yeah. It's like he ruined everything I loved. If you would have let me be in Jackass 4, I would have cleaned up my act in a heartbeat if you would give me the chance. But they have me pay $9,000 a month on Heather Hayes being my doctor, $800 a session twice a week on neurofeedback and therapy, another $800, and then all this medication. And a dude following me around. They're all staying at the Roosevelt partying after filming. Right. I'm at a different hotel 3 blocks away with some dude making sure I don't drink. And then when I get to the set, I have to blow in a fucking sober link, take a piss test, and then if I'm clean, oh, you're lucky. Now go out there and have fun or be funny. I don't feel like it anymore.
Yeah. Why do you think they were setting you up for failure?
One, which is a prediction, that Knoxville did a movie called Action Point in South Africa. He had a $15 million budget and only made $2 million in the box office, mega flop. And you can't just call it a day. You have to pay Paramount back for that. So the only way, maybe he's thinking, well, shit, if Bam gets $5 million, that's already half paid back. If we don't have a minute, we have a perfectly good excuse. We can call him a liability.
Yeah.
So,
did you see that recently he's getting sued for $3 million for tasering somebody recently from another show?
Well, yeah, good for him. He likes to inflict pain on everybody else. Same with Tremaine. Get hurt and action, and then he keeps all the money. Poopy's the new guy. He was willing to sign anything just to be in the movie. So this movie made $150 million in the box office. He got $30,000. You can't even buy a used Hyundai with a donut tire with that. Meanwhile, Tremaine, I found out he buys a brand new mansion on a lake in South Carolina with a $300,000 speedboat times 2 because he brought his brother one right next to it with a second boat. I'm like, all you do is say, we all had to sign a contract to say anybody could get hurt on set. It doesn't matter if it's lunchtime, there might be a macaroni and cheese bomb blowing up on you, or if you go to the porta potty, there might be a blue bomb that blows up, but everybody can get messed with except Tremaine because he's the biggest pussy of a director who can't, fuck him. He's such a hypocrite. He's too much of a wuss to get in a ring with me. But Knoxville, if you double dog dared him to do anything on Jackass, he has to do it because he's handsome and brave and uncoordinated. Well, I triple dog dare you, Knoxville, to hop in a fucking ring with me. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Oh my God, I love this.
I don't even have to practice. I don't have to train.
Now
You're
we're bare
done.
knuckles fans.
Yeah.
Like,
Have a stretcher ready and have a fucking ambulance.
Gosh,
we had a good time with the fight.
Okay, well, we will definitely be ringside. For
we
that.
will be ringside.
We will 100%.
Maybe you even ring girls that day.
Yes. Oh my God.
Just
Can you
girl
imagine? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So you ended your career with Jackass, but there was a lawsuit.
Yeah. I was forced to sue him because, and what else Tremaine does is that he steals your ideas, whether he likes to think he doesn't or not. Here's a perfect example. Jackass 4. I go, how about we have a treadmill, like one for a horse that is huge and goes fast as hell, and we all jump on it one by one and get slammed into a garage door. He's like, yeah, and then we all have marching band equipment on, and you'll have a fucking flute and he'll have a tuba. I'm like, all right, cool. So then we jump on one by one, get slammed. 3 months later, somebody goes, who came up with the marching band idea? I did. No, I did. I came up with the treadmill and getting slammed one by one. All you came up with what the fuck we're wearing.
Right. Okay, wait, that brings me to a good question. How do you guys come up with these idiotic ideas?
Well, obviously old red wine on the plane back in the day.
Well, first of all, how could they expect anyone to be sober during any of this?
Correct.
Is anyone sober?
It's so hypocritical.
And
Not
when you're
on the
young,
fourth one. Apparently, unless Knoxville's secretly sipping on Grandpa's old cough medicine in his Star Wagon, but but no, not on. But before anything flew, it's just so hypocritical to me.
Okay, so how did you guys come up with these ideas?
Well, usually I would be I was on a lot of airplanes, so I would sip on red wine, just sitting there jotting down ideas. And funny you mentioned that you're interviewing Lorena Bobbitt, because I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? If I stick a hot poker up my ass and rip my dick off, that won't even hurt. Then we can sew it back on. And I'm also thinking, Mike Tyson bit off Evander Holyfield's ear in the ring. How about I get into a ring with Evander and then he bites off my ear? And then Paramount's like, you're willing to get half your ear bitten off? I'm like, hell yeah, it doesn't even hurt. And you know the street creds I'll have by walking around saying, what the fuck happened to your ear? Evander Holyfield bit it off? Hell yeah, I'm in.
By the way, and at the time, the money made sense for something like that, correct? Because remember, we were talking about this last night. They get beat up, and it's like $5,000, and it's kind of like, what's it all for? Who would do that? Who'd get out of bed for $5,000?
Like
to get
$8,000 for a nose job.
Right.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I feel like Knoxville took away something that I truly love. She's got my legs back to skateboarding again, which is fine, but I can't jump down big shit like how I used to. I mean, being 44 has a lot to do with it, but my bone spurs sting when I land. It doesn't hurt to walk or run. It just hurts to jump down things. Not only that, I buy a brand new purple Lamborghini. I show up on set. You know, one of those things that you have on a boat that when you're sinking and you press a button, it goes and it blows up like that?
Yeah.
Well, he put that in my Lamborghini, broke out the front windshield and stretched the frame of it to where they had to rent me a Bentley for 2 months as they fixed it.
Well, that
Then he
doesn't
shows
sound
up
terrible.
and then he chopped off the roof of my Hummer, which I don't really care about. But
Wait, is this the same purple Lamborghini that you
the Billy Idol cut the roof off of?
And is that the one that Kim Jong-un wanted to see, whatever his name
Yeah,
is?
so we're on
Tell that story.
Kim Jong-il likes sports cars. So Maximilian Cooper from the Gumball Rally, we were doing around the world in 8 days. So I shipped the car to London. We drove all through Budapest, Vienna, you know, and then we put it on Beograd, Yugoslavia. Then we put it to Phuket, Thailand, Bangkok, Sapporo, Japan. Then we stopped in North Korea because Kim Jong-il likes sports cars. He wouldn't let us drive it around town because he didn't want the people to see this, but he looked at it at the airport. We had to put our phones in the locker. We hop into a bus that takes us to the only nice hotel, which was decorated really 50s. And we had dinner with them. Then we saw this big show where like all these children hold up different pieces of paper that create a face, like a cool face or like a sentence. And then there's a lot of dancers. It was really cool. But at 6 o'clock at night, the town, the size of Fort Lauderdale, all the power shuts out. It looks like Zombieville. It's very spooky and scary. And like I was pushing down the street with a skateboard, ollieing over plants and stuff. These people are like, who is this guy from outer space with a board with 4 wheels on it with all these drawings all over himself?
Because they've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're like a famous singer over there or a rake lever. You all get paid the same amount of money, which would not provoke me to become anything special.
Right. No incentive.
Why be a kick-ass guitar player pulling that whammy bar like it was a cock or some shit when you're not getting any paid?
Right.
Why be an awesome dancer if you're not getting any paid? I might as well just rake leaves like everybody else.
Right. Okay, back to Jackass for 1 second. A couple more questions. Was there anything that you guys could not film? Were there things you had to stay away from?
Yes, so
That's a fun question. Yeah, what were you not allowed to do?
a ton of things. But here's one that sticks out that is so funny to me just because it's so obnoxious. So Dave England is out at Venice Beach, and you know how they have those little, hey, come by and I'll paint your face for, $10. So this 80-year-old lady walks by. She gets pressured into doing it. He's sitting there drawing for like 10 minutes, only to reveal a stick figure of saggy tits and her fingering herself, and it just says slut. And she just goes, oh, you need church. I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. MTV will never, ever put this on. But it is embedded in my brain, and it's just so funny to me.
Oh my God.
Why don't you tell her before we switch subjects about the most painful people always ask you of like what your most painful experience
Well,
was?
I mean, I could sum it up because everybody knows that I have 16 staples in the head, 8 broken ribs, 4 broken ribs,
she'll get
15
it.
broken wrists, broken clavicle, broken tailbone, 3 broken feet. The list goes on. But they say, what was the worst injury and pain?
People always ask this.
My first one is freezing to death in a drunk tank for 17 hours in Vista, California.
What?
Because you can't, they won't give you a blanket because you might hang yourself with it. I'm like, if I'm successful at hanging myself with this Amish quilt, then I'm the man. There's not even anything to hook it on. I'm freezing in here. But they don't care. They want to see you freeze and suffer it. Picture freezing. You're from Alaska. Picture freezing for just 10 minutes. That sucks.
Sucks.
So 17
we're
hours
always
of freezing. It's
cold
like you're
'cause we're
flexing and
thin.
doing sit-ups. It's
Yeah.
worse than being at Planet Fitness for 5 hours.
What was the second one?
The second one was a fucking toothache.
And the third was
I showed
tea
up
tree
at
oil.
the hospital with the pliers and a napkin, and it was a long line because it's Friday night and I live in a college town.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not waiting in this line. I will rip this thing out right now. It hurts so bad. It's toothache.
Yeah.
Third, I'm so sore from skateboarding that she draws myself a tubby tub, and I have all these little oils that say, put in 1 drop of lemongrass, 1 drop of wintergreen, 1 drop of tea tree. I'm like, fuck that noise. I'm putting it all in. I'm sore. Only to find myself out in the hot summer Pennsylvania 100-degree heat, shivering to death with 8 blankets on. It was a Jackass stunt that should have been filmed.
I'm like, you're not
brave
supposed to
do
put the
that.
whole bottles in there.
Oh,
like, you know, like the
no.
little couple drops.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what was the craziest thing that you went through in Jackass that you did film?
Hands down, it was they sabotaged me. So it was a ruse for Tremaine to be sitting in the back of a 18-wheeler that they cut a big giant hole in that is about 15 feet deep, and so I'm supposed to go sneak up behind him, put splash water in his face, and punch him with a boxing glove. We call it the Rocky. So boom, and then I knock you out. So I fall into the pit as I'm sneaking up on him, and I lay there and I see all these fake snakes, and I'm like, very funny. I'm like, whoa, hold up, this can't be the bit. There's got to be more to it because there has to be a better ending than this.
Yeah.
David Weathers is there, the snake charmer, who has 100 snakes that he pours on me to the point where they know the worst thing you could tell a director of Jackass to do is tell him what you're terrified of. I'll film anything. I'm not scared of anything. But if you bring a snake around me, then we're going to have a problem. That just meant put snakes on BAM. So I am crying.
For real.
For real.
You should watch
I
that
was
clip.
in panic mode. Like, I needed a red hot panic
He
switch.
was trying to get out. I actually felt bad when I
Oh, wait,
watched the clip.
did you guys have like a secret name or like a word?
Like a code word?
Yeah, code word.
Well, I guess Knoxville is Oklahoma, but mine's usually Ooga Booga that I didn't invent yet. But Ooga Booga, get me out of here. Thank God Ryan Dunn finally had enough and pulled me out.
Thank
but
God.
but I didn't have enough arm strength because the pole was here and I had to like reach up. I couldn't do it. And they kept pouring all these snakes
So it's like
on
a
me.
Raiders of the Lost
And the
Ark
snakes are
moment.
heavy.
Yes.
Think about
and
how
these
heavy
are,
snakes
these
are.
are like python-ass,
Yeah, the
big-ass
yellow ones.
snakes.
Oh my God.
And
The
to
Britney
know
snake.
if they're devenomized or not, don't care.
Right. Oh my God.
I watched that clip not too long ago, and I honestly had a moment where you could see his eyes, where he's like,
You see the fear.
fear. Yeah.
Oh.
But I realized, everybody's like, why you so, I know now why. When I was 5 years old, there's this tunnel near my house underneath the highway with a little bit of like, water runoff. I was climbing underneath with some friends just to get to the other side because it was a fun thing to do at a 5-year-old. There's this black snake in the middle that I couldn't see, and it just jumped out. I was like, whoa, and I popped my head.
Oh.
And it was the first time I ever saw blood on myself. So I ran home crying, thinking I was going to die or something.
Right.
And that's just like a PTSD thing.
Right. So that's where that came
Snake
from.
was like, get out of my way. But why don't you tell her before, about the snake incident that we had together where you got kind of close.
So we were filming with the Madhouse boys. They're like,
I like
new
snakes.
version of Jackass. They're very brave. Man, they took
wanna
some
be
pain.
Bam.
Yeah, so they showed up with this big python
The Britney
that they
snake.
actually filmed with Britney Spears during the VMAs in
Oh,
2000.
wow.
And they wanted to scare me. They blindfolded me, had me sit down, and then they took the blindfold off only to see the snake right there,
Right.
which I was like, pretty freaked out about. But she has it around her neck and
I'm
stuff.
not scared, yeah.
And I had to handle my phobia of this, so I agreed to have the tail end around me.
Good job.
Just
You
so I
did
could
it.
overcome this fear.
And do you
Now I'm not scared of anything.
I was going to say, do you feel like you overcame that?
Yeah, the only two things I was scared of is snakes and these terrible nightmares about this spooky guy that I couldn't see his face named Bergam. But once I stood up to Bergam in my nightmares, he finally fucking went away. So now I'm not scared of anything.
Yeah.
Is Bergam a name you came up with?
No, it's what he told me. I was like, finally, what is your name? And he said his name is Bergam. I'm like, I'm going to fuck you up.
Pamela Duff helped kill him.
But wait, that's actually like, that's a great lesson for people that are scared of things. You need to face it
Because he
head
would
on.
creep up on me in my sleep like a dark shadow, and I couldn't see I could only see his like spooky eyes, and he would try to choke me at night, and
you would
I had
wake
to
up.
fight him off. And then finally, after months and months of this, I had enough. I was like, I don't even like being alive because I'm 250 pounds. You know, my manager would be like, yo, Bam, you want to make a 1 hour appearance? All you have to do is sign shit and take photos. You get 20 grand. I'm like, no. He's like, you don't want 20 grand for 1 hour? I'm like, no. He's like, why? I'm like, because I don't want to appear anywhere.
Well, no one understands what you saw last night.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to be
anywhere.
awake. I don't want to visit friends because I don't like my appearance, and I don't want to skate. I don't want to do anything. And then when I go to bed, I got to fucking deal with Bergam every night with these terrible nightmares.
Sorry.
So like,
Well, now that you're not doing drugs and drinking, do
Yeah.
you think that that's helped with your nightmares?
no,
do you think they
is
brought
what
it
helped
out?
with my nightmares is replacing terrible memories with good ones. I mean, we've been on the road nonstop. We've pretty much seen every state in the past year: Puerto Rico, Scotland, Ireland, Belfast. Fucking, you could go on. But now I go to bed happy, and I have good thoughts.
He sleeps a lot.
When you're in
calmer.
treatment, and the only thing you have to look forward to is nothing. Every day.
so sad.
What am I doing today? Well, you're going to take a class on how alcohol is bad and it's not any good. All right, well, I already know that. What about this class? Well, that's going to teach you about how alcohol is not good and it's pretty bad. Yeah, well, I already figured that.
Right.
Then what am I going to do? It's just like every day this, and then therapy of a 13th new therapist that we're actually getting somewhere, but now they transfer me to a different treatment center and I have to re-spill my guts to a new therapist. What's the even point of doing it again? Because I'm probably in 90 days going to be somewhere else.
Doesn't
Right.
that sound like torture
It
to
was.
It
you?
does, and it's a lot to be said
do you
for
wanna-
instead of just sitting there and harping on what happened and getting it all out over and over and living in that almost. It's
so
like
now
the
I'm
fact
talking
that
about it
you
all
guys,
the time.
Yeah, but the
now
fact
I don't
that
talk
you
about
guys
it anymore. Now we
are
talk about
living.
skateboarding and fucking and whatever we want.
Yeah.
But like
I'm just saying for even not no offense to Bam, but like everybody that's in this situation.
Right.
It's like they're not even when I went to drive from LA to Pennsylvania to get him out of the last rehab he was in. You know,
But let's just talk
they
about.
weren't even allowed to have phones. I'm
no,
like, he can't even
I
like
had
say
no
what's up.
phone, no interweb,
No music?
no.
Because they want you focused on that.
You-
part
Yeah.
of
That's
your
like
life
would make
in
you
your
go
head.
Or they don't
insane.
want you to call your friends and family and tell you how corrupt the places are. I had a roommate
Right.
named Big Ben who was 600 pounds. I had him for 90 days, and he wouldn't even go to class. He would just wake up in the middle of the night, smoke 5 cigarettes with me, and then eat one of those Cracker Barrel cheese bricks with like bread on it, all melted. Then he would go back to bed, and he would sleep all day. So one day, everybody's like, where's Big Ben? And all the people that work there are like, oh, he moved along to a different treatment center. I'm like, treatment center my ass. He's in the fucking morgue. They pronounced him dead in my room at 3 o'clock in the morning, towing him away in a goddamn ambulance.
Wow.
So,
Well,
like-
do you think they thought it would trigger people and they couldn't
Probably.
handle that kind of
I don't know,
news?
but I don't even know if they even told the. And then another guy, let's just call him Joe McFuck. He has a treatment center, and he would when people he wants your insurance. So when he knows that your insurance is going to be up, he'll let a girl go out, hang out with their friends, praying that they
I told you I
relapse,
worked for
so they
him.
keep them there for another 90 days. He got 5 of his clients that were girls pregnant. He's married, so he had to pay for their abortions. It's so fucked up. I could
That
go
was here in
on
Del
and
Rey.
on and on about
So
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean, for me, like even just having him, whether we stayed together or not, at that time we were very new. I'm like, I can't leave this guy there for some reason. Like he begged me, like they will shuffle me again. Like do not leave me here. I drove 2
Oh,
dogs in a
100%.
Bentley from LA to Pennsylvania to get him out.
God,
of
and I had
there.
this guardian like Britney Spears,
You
Lima.
know,
She
so-
is the worst. She actually faked an autopsy on Amanda Rabb, who was under her care.
Google all this.
She
It's
died
crazy.
She died of a seizure just like me. I've never had one before. As soon as I start hanging out with Liam, I start getting seizures. It's like, were you trying to do the same thing to me as Amanda Rabb? Where the fuck is the FBI to find out what really happened? And you lied on your fucking autopsy report.
You know, it's body snatching they call it,
And
which
it's
is
also called murder.
very intense.
But anyway, I figured this out. When you're in treatment, even if you're correct, if the police come, you could say, if you declare him as schizophrenic, they don't believe a word you say.
Right.
There
I do
could
know
be a
that.
dead body right behind that red curtain, and the police will come, and they'll be like, just so you know, he's schizophrenic. Officers, there's a dead body right there. Yeah, whatever, hand behind your back. No, there's a dead body right there.
It takes away
no,
your
no,
credibility.
You're schizophrenic. No, just walk
know.
3 steps and look behind the red curtain, and you'll see a dead body. Yeah, right, you're just schizophrenic. They don't believe a word
And
you say.
that's a terrible
If they just
position to
look,
be
they'd be like,
in.
holy shit, he's right. No shit, because I'm not schizophrenic.
Yeah, no, I get that. So
Some people say I'm manic bipolar. The other one says I'm not. This one says I'm schizophrenic. They don't know anything. I would go to the next treatment center, and they would be like, what cocktail did they put you on over there? I'm like, they said that they were the best of the best treatment. They're like, I've never seen anything like this. This is a death cocktail. You know what? We're going to put you on this, and the other thing. Then I go to the next treatment center in Tequesta, Florida at Futures. They'd be like, what cocktail did this place put you on? I'm like, they said that they were the best of the best, and the other cocktail was a death set. They're like, this
So
one's a
let me
death.
ask you a question. Now that you've been through all of
Yeah.
this, what do you think you've learned through not necessarily the rehabs, but through all the things you've been through that you can take with you, or people that are listening and struggling with addiction? What have you learned from it that can help other people?
I've learned that Florida treatment centers are corrupt. They only want your insurance money. They're not really concerned with your health, and they do not want you to get better, because if you get better, they lose a client. 18 different prescriptions. Well, looks like Doc's getting a pretty good kickback. If you leave not on anything and you're cured, he loses a client, and he's got to switch his Bentley back to a Hyundai.
So
Change your circle.
But here, I can tell you this. I had no reason to get better. She's
No
the
purpose.
best reason to get better. Why? Her perfect ultimatum. But now I can escape again. I can do back to what I love. But is what I didn't know, all I needed is structure. Because if I'm having fun, I'll just keep going till the sun comes up. It doesn't matter how much fun we're having. We could be at a Metallica concert and fucking Iggy Pop just showed up. She'd be like, bam, I don't care. It's time to go to bed. It's 10 o'clock at night. So I'm like, shit, but Iggy Pop just... No. We're going to bed, and that's the way it is. I need structure. I wake up now. I walk the dogs. We stretch for an hour. I look for a skate spot. I can't leave until I get a photo or a video clip. Then I'll either paint, draw, edit, or whatever. It's a structured, fun schedule that I get to look forward to, knowing that if I don't go to bed before the midnight hour, it's going to interrupt the whole flow of my next day.
Right. And how happy are you now that you found the structure and the love and the life that you're living? Do you think that this is going to prevent you from relapsing again?
Absolutely, because now I don't want to.
Yeah.
I look forward to skating every day. I look forward to wondering where we're going to go. I don't want that life anymore. It's no good.
Right.
I was going to die, 100%.
So do you think that something like Jackass could ever be in your life again, or
No, that
would
is
trigger
done.
you?
You can't give me $40 million to say yes to that. Tremaine has ruined the legacy. It was supposed to, Jackass 4 is supposed to be a tribute to Ryan Dunn, and we were supposed to get the band back together to make something awesome. Now he has all these new hee-haw heads in it, and it just sucks. Like, all these fat guys and butt floss and fucking
There was a
kicking
lot
each
of
other
balls
in
in
the
the
nuts.
last
I'm
one.
44, man. Grow up.
Okay, I'll make you laugh before. So the funny thing is after the Sunset Marquee, when we left Koreatown, we went to the Ziggy Hotel. Love you, Ziggy. One of my favorite places. They love the dogs. They took us in and they love Bam. So he went out that day and he's like, I'm going to go buy you a purse. I'm like, listen, I save pit bulls. I don't do purses like that. I mean, I have a couple, but don't go buy me anything weird. So he leaves for like an hour, comes back. The minute he leaves, Jackass 4 comes on. Now, remember, I didn't realize he wasn't in it because I wasn't really caught up.
Yeah.
So I may have given it about 10 minutes and there were just nothing but balls everywhere. I'm like,
Right.
that's a lot of balls.
So
going
I
on.
got to say this. The fact that they did it without me, fuck them all. But the only one that thank you to for is Steve-O, because he's the only one that stuck up for me. And Pontius, and Danger Aaron and Dave, they were like, but they still did it without me. And, every time I hang out with Steve-O, it's just a Murph speech about how I need to go to meetings. And that's your way. I don't need to hear about it. And if you tell me that cigarettes are bad, I need tobacco. Tobacco was invented because a Nicole Boyd was born, and so was a Tremaine. It stresses me out. It helps me. Yeah. So don't tell me what I need and what I can't do. And then when I went on his tour, he didn't want to pay me of what I earned. He wanted to put it in a Phoenix the Wolf trust fund, and he gets it when he's 18. I'm like, you're not at liberty to making these decisions. I did my work for you. Now give me the money. Well, we don't want you to spend it on drugs. It doesn't matter. You owe me the...
It seems very strange, like they want to put you in a conservatorship or something and feel like you don't have the credibility to run your life and make the decisions.
And they were in the same position prior.
Small.
They're not any better.
It would make me feel so small on tour. You know, we printed these Steve-O and Bam decks, and you know, I think I snapped a photo saying like new Steve-O Bam decks. He's like, what are you doing, dude? This is supposed to be a secret. We're on tour and we're supposed to make these limited edition. I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. I thought I would help to promote, you know, making me. And then he's got these fucking yes men around him so bad. Like, it's time to wake up. So, guys, I'm the most awesome ever. Oh, yeah, Steve-O, you are. So we're going to do a Steve-O hot sauce. We have to taste test 5 different hot sauces. Wow, that one's pretty good. What do you think, Scott? Oh, yeah, that one is pretty good. What do you think? Oh, yeah, what about this one? Not so much. Yeah, not so much. What about, oh, dude, this one's the one. Oh, yeah, this one is the one. No, actually, I thought the one that sucks is the one. Yeah, my taste buds are off. The one that sucks is the one. I'm like, you're all just yes men.
Right. Got it.
You tell him whatever he wants to hear.
So what's your relationship like then with the gang? It sounds like you mostly talk to Steve-O if you do talk to anyone?
I just don't want to talk to any of them.
You don't?
Because it's just one big bad memory.
Got it.
Maybe you and Steve-O just need to rescue a pig together and see what happens.
Yeah, I know, but like you don't understand. There's people on the Olympics that are wrecking themselves trying the hardest tricks in skateboarding. And Steve-O's selling more boards than Yuto Horigome, Jamie Foy, and Chris Joslin combined. Right. When it came down to push to shove, if he entered Tampa Pro let's just call it the Tampa Amateur, he would get dead last every single time.
Okay, that's a good point because
you're not at liberty to sell pro decks.
The Olympics
Let the other
coming
people
up.
earn the money.
Is this the second time they've had skateboarding? It started in how long has it been in the Olympics? This is the second.
It's just actually starting now.
Oh,
people are qualifying for the Olympics when it gets started, but even the X Games, all that stuff.
Okay.
Like,
and people, do they know who these guys are that are going? Or
yeah, like Steve-O's Clock and Bank on skateboards. You have to be a pro to sell that shit. You can't just start a half Knoxville, half Steve-O skateboarding. No.
Right.
Unless you're going to kickflip down at least 10 stairs.
But it is interesting that it is in the Olympics. People don't even know the names sometimes of the guys that are performing or, you know, in the Olympics because they know Steve-O or they know, you know, Jackass. And that is very interesting. Do you think those guys are good that are in the Olympics? Like, are you going to be watching?
They are incredible.
They are so good.
They are so good that like most of the tricks that you see would take anybody 2 hours or more to even land. And once they landed it once, they would probably never try it again because it's so hard.
Right.
But they have it on such lockdown and they're so consistent. It's honestly, as a pro skater, to me, it's mind-boggling.
I'm dragging you with me. You're coming.
Wait, and I'm like, how does it work? Is it an individual sport or is it a team against a country? Like, how does that work?
That's why I love skateboarding, because I had a choice to be the pitcher of a baseball team. I was very good at it. Or a pro skater. I didn't like wearing this gay uniform with these stirrups and cleats.
Obviously.
No. I'm not wearing this outfit. I look gayer than a leather piñata. No. So skateboarding, I can rock whatever I want. I can make my grip tape look whatever I want. I can look as cool as I want. And if I get last place, then that's my own ass. I didn't leave a team down. Picture being the goalie of a hockey team and your only job is to stop the puck and you let it go through a gap this big, you lost the game for us.
Right.
I don't need that kind of pressure.
Were you good at any other sports?
Baseball.
He plays golf. No one knows. He's
I'm really good at golf.
Really?
Very good.
What's your handicap?
So is Yellow Wolf. I'll be par or 1 under par every time.
He's pretty good.
Okay. All right. I like that.
He shocks people. I know. The Happy
Wait, one more
Gilmore.
question about the Olympics. Is it almost like gymnastics where there are certain things they have to do? Can they create? Do they all do the same things? How
They
does that
have
work?
3 different sections. So they have the street course, which is like stairs and handrails, which I don't want to do these days.
Right.
My feet can't take that. Then they have transitions of bowls, which is a whole nother thing. Then they have the mega ramp where you launch 50 feet into a bank with a huge ass 20-foot vert wall.
Okay.
That you air up and do McTwists.
Are there
now
other...
they got these little kids doing 900s. Tony Hawk was the first to do one, and it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen live.
Wow.
This little 13-year-old is just like 900, 900. A girl even did it from Canada.
We need to bring her
and
with
she's
us.
15.
I want to go.
We need to bring them to Tampa when we go to see Brian Schaefer, and it's so beautiful to watch. It's very mesmerizing when you really watch them practice.
And is it women doing it too, or is it just men?
There's
For the
there's
Olympics?
girls
There's
contests.
girls. Oh, yeah, the
Wow.
vert ramp and stuff.
And
I'll
is there
come. You'll
someone?
come.
Is there someone we should be watching at the Olympics? Like a name
Jin
that we should follow?
I don't know if he's there.
Well, let's give some. Okay, Jamie Foyd, Yuto Horigome, Nyjah Houston,
Nyjah.
Chris Joslin, Brian Hoban. I mean, they're all so good.
They're all good.
It
They're
all
cuties.
just really depends on if you mess up one trick in your run, then chances are you're not going to win. You have to be really good these days.
And is there a country that's really good at this that we're up against?
For some reason, Brazil, they're gnarly. I think they're just
Wow.
really hungry to become sponsored or pro. Like, I don't
Italy
know,
for
maybe
me.
down there they're digging in the dumpster for a peach pit and they'll be willing to jump off this roof right now if they get a nice meal down at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Well, I got a text message that said Bare Knuckles is down for y'all's fight. So
Well, let's see if Knoxville's brave enough.
just got a little birdie
Amazing.
telling
I
me.
thought he was handsome, brave, and
From Dave
uncoordinated. Now I just
Feldman?
think
Dave
he's
Feldman said
uncoordinated.
bring it.
He's
All
not
right,
even
little
brave.
shout out there to Dave Feldman.
Did he say we could ring girl or?
Yeah, we're gonna work on that one too. Let's
Tell him to go film Bad Grandpa again. This time he doesn't have to do 4 hours of makeup a morning. He just already looks that way.
So it doesn't matter to you that, like, on Howie Mandel, he was very kind when we're talking about Johnny
Don't care.
Knoxville. You don't care. All right. So
I don't
let's
even.
make that fight happen.
There we go.
He needs to get his
Below now.
ass kicked, and
don't
that's the
care.
end.
Okay.
Let's see if he's brave.
Why
I
don't you
don't
just
think so.
tack his feet and call it even?
I will fuck him up like Sandman.
I don't like to talk about this.
All right, let's move on to a different topic for a second. How is your relationship with your family now? Your ex-wife, your son. Can you fill us in a little bit about that?
It's just one big giant custody battle to where, like, I feel like there's nothing that you could do when a woman is scorned and Babylon's burning and it's going to burn your house down. If I showed up and I said, hey, I have $1 million that I just want to give you, she'd be like, oh, really? I'd be like, yeah, because I just hit the lotto for $5 million and I wanted to give you one. Oh, so you won 5 and you only gave me 1? Like, there is no winning in anything. And, like, she gets joy on bringing me pain. All I want to do is see my son. That's it. And I asked a month ago, I said, Stuart, it's a guy that I have to ask who I have to pay $800 to visit Phoenix for an hour to spy on me. But I said on the 23rd, a month ago, that's a date that I could come to California and visit. 3 weeks goes by. Did she get back to you? No, she didn't get back to me yet. How hard is it? She doesn't even have a job. How hard is it to get back to you to say yes or no? She just wants to cause a problem. She gets joy. I feel like if I'm the genie of the lamp, Nikki, for I grant you one wish, any wish you want. Just so you know, most people wish for a happy life or a big mansion or a sports car. So what's your wish? My wish is banned for me living in Skid Row in a tent with no friends to overdose or whatever. It's just, there's nothing I could do to be cordial.
Right.
One
We've
day at
spent
a
so
time.
much money in court. I'm up to $200,000 on a matter we could have figured out together alone with no legal fees. Right. When's a better FaceTime for Phoenix? High noon on Wednesday, or is Tuesday better?
Wow. So how
We're
often?
still working on it, Bam. Send me another 40 grand and we'll figure it out. What is there to figure out? Wednesday at high noon, or is Monday better?
Well, I know a lot of people do understand. And by the way, I do understand too. I went through a very long process of custody, divorce, arguing with my ex. I don't really talk about it often, but my ex accused me of things, and because I went to rehab for PTSD, not for any substance, and told the court that I was suicidal, which I wasn't. And they, without even checking, took my daughter away.
Yeah.
And I had to see her through Child Protective Services
Well,
for
that-
4 months. And
yeah.
it was terrible because I didn't have a voice. It's going to make me cry. And not only that, it wasn't true. And
Yeah.
all I wanted was to see her. And it was terrible. It ended up getting dropped. I got her. I now live in Florida with her. You know, he lives in New York. So it all works out. But when someone has that anger towards you.
And the
Yeah.
control.
Yeah, and has the ability to control it because you have gone through a hard time, but they use it against you. And so I do
So
understand that.
It's like she
for
wants me to pay for his life and her life, but not be in their life.
Right.
I'm like, well, how's that work? Like, I was giving you $5 grand a month for child support out of the kindness of my own heart when you put me away in treatment with Lima. And then when we went to court, she wanted more. So the judge is like, hold up, you've been giving her $5 grand a month out of the kindness. There's no judge telling you to do this. I'm like, no, I'm just doing it. They're like, and you provided her a car? Yeah. And you're not even married? No. They're like $4,000 a month, Nikki. Go get a job. I'm like, I told you I was being more than fair.
Yeah.
So now,
400.
yeah, $430 or something. And I was giving her $5,000. I'm like, you should be very happy with this. But she wanted more.
Right.
And she thinks I have some kind of money tree because when David Glasshole, her lawyer, is like, oh, you're up to $200,000. Well, Nikki, how you plan on paying for this? This could have been all for Phoenix. And we're blowing all my hard-earned Jackass money on this legal nonsense.
Has she
And now we're
said
going to court
anything-
for 4 days on how we're not married. We're not married, Nikki.
Right.
There's no way around it. Just because you have a wedding dress on and I give you a kiss does not mean that we're married.
Has she said anything about your new marriage?
I don't know.
Well,
We
I
don't-
just want to make clear,
We only
too,
communicate through Family
to the
Wizard, and she
world
barely does that.
that, he was also with somebody prior to me. So this isn't like, she's been sitting at home waiting for him to come home. He was with somebody else. He was single. So when we met, this wasn't like he just left the house and then is with me. Because there's some things online that I don't really appreciate because I was, we were both very single. But when it comes down to the future over here, my voice is I'm super supportive. I stay out of it. She's never been kind to me. It's all about Phoenix. I come from a divorced family. I have his back 100% of what Phoenix deserves. It's just as a mom, hustle.
Right.
I don't understand the non-hustle.
Well, I think the point
So-
is, and from an outsider's perspective, there's going to be a lot of animosity between the two of you because
Yeah,
of
which I
what you
really
went
hope we
through.
work it out because we
Right.
need to be cordial for the sake
Right.
of Phoenix.
And once she sees how good you're doing,
Yeah.
how good
It'll
the two
take
of you
time.
are doing, how there's some stability,
Yeah.
I can only assume and hope that she will then be, even if she doesn't want to do it, will be encouraged by the people around her
Yeah.
to say, wait a
Hopefully.
minute, this child needs his father.
Right.
And I think that will
Yeah,
eventually
and-
become
And like
visible to
when
her.
she got Lima to put me away in Florida, I had a 15-minute phone call per day. I would spend it calling her off the hook, and she would never answer. And if she did, it's like, oh, I was cooking Phoenix a sandwich, or oh, I was sitting by the pool. Well, why can't you have your phone by the pool? Well, it wasn't on Ringer. Well, then put it on Ringer. You know that I have a 6 o'clock window of 15 minutes to talk. She abandoned me in there, basically left me for dead. She actually came in once on Easter to visit me because when I hyperextended my elbow or whatever, she came in. But I took Phoenix out on an Easter egg hunt, snapped a photo, and then on her phone. So I was like, oh, let me send me that. I love this. My number is programmed in as dickhead on her phone. So I'm like, Judge, if she comes in saying that she wanted to get married, why would she want to marry a person named Dickhead
Right.
on her phone?
right. All right.
it's all
well,
about Phoenix. You
right,
know
it is
that.
all about
and,
Phoenix.
And
And
it gets
I made
easier,
him
and it
first try
will.
on purpose in Barcelona, Spain
Okay.
at
Yeah,
Winkle's
Margera.
house because I was ready for that. I wanted a kid. I want to teach him how to skateboard or baseball or whatever it is he wants to desire.
Right.
But she took him away from me. And like, I'll never hear the end of when he was 3, I was mad and punched a little mirror and walked off. Never hear the end of it.
Well, you can't go back
Time will
into
tell.
the past. And all you can do is know, and we've talked about your purpose going forward. Obviously, your son means more to you than anything else. And so obviously that will be one of the reasons why you stay
Yeah.
clean and sober, which is great, and your wife. Let's talk about some of the other things that are really important to you. I know dogs are really important to you. Just talk about some of your art, your passions.
Well,
Sherwood Forest.
so she saves animals, mainly dogs. But we have this rule at Planet Fitness that we can't have a phone. So I'm sitting there doing sit-ups. I look over. She texts. I'm like, I thought there was a no phone room. She's like, hold on, I'm saving a goat right now. I'm like, what? So I grab the phone. I'm like, you're really saving a goat from North Dakota?
Yep.
All right.
And the Petaluma Ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
the
important to
Petaluma,
you.
what's his name? You're friends with him now.
Which one?
The duck guy.
Oh,
who
the
got
Petaluma
arrested.
County, Zoe Rooster, Wayne. Oh yeah,
Wayne.
we're
He
freeing
got
the
locked
ducks.
up for trying to save ducks. And
Yeah, he was the
trust
coolest guy
family.
in jail.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
When I met Bam, just his passions, he's a big cat guy, and I love all animals, but I introduced him to the pit bull issue we have and everything going on with that. And I'm a big horse person, so being out in Pennsylvania, it's been fun and the farmland, and
Yep.
just opening up. I don't like the celebrity word, but opening up everyone's eyes to what is going on out there with our animals. We've let them down, so
It's
Yeah.
really
he's
gnarly. Like
pretty involved.
when they take a dog out for a walk, let's say it's been in a cage for a week, which sometimes that's the case. If they even yank on the leash, they consider it aggressive and they need to put it down. It's like, well, wouldn't you want to yank on the leash if you've been locked up in a cage for a week? You'd be like, yay, I'm outside. Let's go run.
Well, we'll give them a shout out.
We need to put him down.
That's LA County. We pulled a dog recently, and shout out to our girl Heather, who you'll meet. She's part of the Bride Tribe. She has Rocky, and that was the first experience he has, and the dog is amazing. He was in the shelter for 3 years, and he was about to go down, and by the grace of God, we have him, and he's part of our tribe and a great example. And his first time experiencing how it works and when they get their walk of freedom and how it feels. So, and hopefully.
And you mentioned this last night, and you said a little bit about it today. The fact that now you have this structure, you have to get up and take care of the dogs. You have to be home for the dogs. You guys can't be out all night. You can't be a mess because these dogs count on you, and that's super important. And what you're also talking about with these pit bulls that you guys have and love, they're like the most misunderstood animal. I have 2 of them. And don't you kind of feel like you get that? Like people misunderstanding you. And so I feel like...
And we're on misunderstood.
Yes, and you're on misunderstood. And no, so I do want to talk about being misunderstood for a second, because you do have so many fans. I witnessed this last night firsthand, even just for a couple hours. It was awesome. It's just, I can't even put into words what that was like. But I feel like you do have a group of people that don't understand you fully. What would you say is the biggest misunderstood thing about you?
Everything.
I mean,
well, something that you would want to clear up that you want your fans to know, or people who aren't a fan.
I love everything and everything. Love will love you back. But I'm a troublemaker and I'm an instigator, and I admit it.
Right.
But he's actually, I'll answer for him. He's very romantic. I will tell you the side of Bam Margera people. You know, when we first started dating, even your dumb DMs that I'm psycho for marrying someone, whatever, you're psycho for DMing me. But, you know, literally, like, he is so nice and fun, and there's always laughing. Even when we're kind of bickering, we're not. It's like a brother-sister kind of bicker. Right. And, you know, it's just the level of kindness all the time, even when I know that he's not I don't want to say the best mood, but it can be overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me sometimes being with him, with the
Because so many people want a piece
oh my gosh,
of you.
they just want to suck on his ear. I'm like, okay, can we get some sanitizer after? Yeah. But you know, it's just the kindness of him. He really wants to make everybody happy. He wants to say hi to everybody. He wants to give you your photo. Right. And inside, that's really who he is.
You want to hear a really romantic story?
Am I in it? No.
So when I had my first girlfriend, Michelle Morrison, when I was 16.
Cheers to Michelle.
She was on this summer school trip to all around Europe. So I knew she was going to London, Paris, and Spain. So there was a 5-day window of her being in Paris, and I knew that they were going to be at the top of the Eiffel Tower at some point. So
Michelle,
I waited for 5 days at the top of the Eiffel Tower. 5 days. Just waiting and waiting. On the 5th day, I finally hear people speaking English that sound like it's from Delco. And I'm like, that's got to be them. So I just tap her on the shoulder. I turn around. I just start making out. She's like, how did you get it? Oh, you don't even know what I went through. It's not like I just showed up and this happened. I've been here for 5 days.
He would do that today.
That's the most romantic thing ever.
So you believe in love. You believe in love.
He really does.
So then she takes me to the whole class's hotel where they're all staying. She has a roommate. She lets me come in to sleep with her. The roommate's cool with it. Then it was checkout time. I didn't know that the what do you call it? The teachers that upkeep everything, they are searching everything just to see if it's clean.
Right.
You know, and I'm underneath the bed. My heart is pounding so bad. He's like, is everything clean? We got to get ready to go to Spain. And his foot is like at my nose. I'm like, I'm going to be, oh my God, what's going to happen? He's like, oh, there's a sock right down here. The sock is like right there. He basically touched me. He's like, all right, pack all your stuff and go. Yes.
Basically, he'll wait 5 days at the Eiffel Tower for us.
Right. So, I love that.
And cheers to you, Michelle.
I'm very romantic. Save the bees, save the trees, save the whales. Save those snails.
We save. There you go.
Okay, there's been talks about a documentary being done about your life. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Well, I have 13 terabytes of footage, which is like more than Avatar. That basically means if you hit spacebar right now, it'll play for a month and a half. So that's what editors have to watch before they even get started.
Wow.
I've been working on this for 5 years. I went mental. Picture trying to put this much of footage into a 2-hour movie and make it make sense.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I went metal. I had to put it down. But Joe DeVito, who did a lot of MTV stuff for me,
loves him.
once talked to Lionsgate. They want to
who is very
crack
Joe
at this.
DeVito
Yeah.
excited. And I, Joe DeVito, I haven't met in person yet, but he just had a new baby, and cheers to him. He's a big lover of Bam and has been in Bam's life for over 20 years and thanked me for not writing or him having to write the obituary on this documentary. So everyone is very excited that there is a happy ending because he was going to do it no matter what. And when we had a long talk, he said, I was really scared it wasn't going to end this way.
well.
So it's exciting to finally get to meet him, and he's just excited to really wrap it up. And Lionsgate's very excited to have Bam.
And a shout out to our manager, Michael Quinn,
Michael
for Silverstone
Quinn.
Entertainment. Thank you so much for paying off my $2,000 of bingo debts down at the casino.
I just want to
Appreciate it.
thank him for Michael Lohan, you, and this Karma water that we live off of all the time.
Yes,
because I just want to
our
say it's
favorite
great.
Pop, shake, peel, the vitamins
It's
go
actually
straight
pop,
down.
push, shake, and then sip. That's what
Either
it
way,
is.
it gives me energy, and it's
But I just
natural.
want to say Michael Lohan's been great. Michael Quinn's been great. I'm finally excited we get to meet our friend
I
Sean
know.
Green that we have
I know,
together.
our dance instructor.
And now I'm
Is he from Baltimore?
obsessed.
No, I think he's originally from. His parents live here too, so it's
thought
terrible
he was-
that I don't know that.
Well, I know it's Sean Green, but he's from
I'm
Baltimore.
trying to figure. We need to find out
Yeah.
because he thinks he might know him. Remember, Sean's kind of in our age group.
Yes.
So
No, he is. He's 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I thought when we met 5, maybe 7 years
He's
ago.
a pastor's son.
He is a
wasn't-
pastor's son.
Yeah, he wasn't
The best
doing a
smile
lot of
ever.
Must
most
be a
gorgeous
different
smile.
bloke.
But I was wondering if they knew each other.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been very public. Is there anything in private that fans would like to know about you, bad or good, struggles or things that you want someone to know about you that maybe wouldn't be known?
He watches Dateline.
I mean,
Yeah, love that. Keith Morrison. If we all met Keith Morrison, do you know how
Please.
much fun we'd have?
Oh
We'd
my
freak
God.
out.
Allison Trissel knows
that's all.
it.
Yeah. So these days, I'm very humble and easygoing. You might think that I would enjoy a bumping nightclub on a Friday night. I want the exact opposite.
Why don't
I'd
you
rather
tell
be
her-
doing yoga in the woods.
Why don't you tell her about your little plant obsession right now on a Friday night?
Well,
You're obsessed with plants
I
now.
just want to decorate the house.
There you go.
I like a lot of flowers. Thanks to Pamela Duff, we stayed at her greenhouse covered in plants and all these crystals. I'm talking a lot of crystals
Wow.
and
You're
a
gonna
nice
love
pool
it.
with a
You're
sauna
gonna
and hot
meet her
tub. I'm like,
too.
So-
why am I so happy in here? It's
told her
because of the
about you.
flowers and the crystals.
So you've become a real homebody.
Yeah.
I
When
think that's
before I
surprising.
wanted a naked inverted keg stand party with rock bands playing.
Right.
I wanted the world to know, last Friday, we literally were at this beautiful little, in his little area of Westchester, in his area. There's these cute little farms that you just can leave money and grab eggs.
Oh, right.
And these
I don't
beautiful
understand- I
places.
still don't understand that.
They have
It's
trust.
like the trust
They have
thing.
trust into the world. But
Right.
we actually were there on a Friday night, and then we went and got plants. So I wanted the world to know that's what he's doing on Friday
I
nights
bring
now.
my friend who's having a heroin withdrawal and he has no money. He's like, so you just leave fucking money in that bucket and you can take what you want? Yeah, it's a trust thing. We're all neighbors. He's like, good to know. I'm like,
Yeah,
if you
good-
even think of coming
about
back
stealing
To
the
go steal
neighbor's
the
bucket,
money?
please.
Oh
Good
my
to know.
God. That's hysterical.
We went to the dairy farm the other night. That was fun. Yeah, a lot of
So
just
I have a question for the two of you. Do you think you guys will have a baby?
I'm old. I mean, I am 4'4". However, the gyno said to wrap it up still. So, I have never really answered that question publicly. I've never craved kids, but I would not obviously say no.
Right.
But I mean, 4'4".
I would love to, but
has
right
happened
now I need to
quick.
focus on Phoenix just
Yeah.
because.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
we're-
because he's sick. I mean, you see how cute he
He's
is.
so
Plus, he's
cute.
born on Christmas.
He's so cute. You know what it is?
and
Is
he's the man. He's
For me,
He's your
if it
man.
ever happened, it
He's-
would. But, I'm
yes.
getting older. It's never been something on my list. And you know what? I'm so grateful that I don't, there's one already that I look forward to meeting when it's time, and I love the fact that when it's time, on my end over here, I'm ready to play nice. I was never playing mean,
Right.
and I know that there's been a lot of
there's
turmoil.
no time for meanness.
But
it's all about Phoenix. and we need
he's
to be
right. I
cordial
mean,
with
I'm
our
ready. I
household.
love it.
Right.
I was a nanny. I'm not scared.
I
I'll
love
play
that.
damn Transformers.
Okay, but you
all
guys
day.
are not against it. Would you ever adopt if you got older? and couldn't-
I've thought about that too. I mean, I'm a big animal person, but I'm someone, we work with this girl, Leah, and she's a very great friend of ours, Josie Moran. They're best friends. Zen Haling, who we work with, that's our circle. You'll meet everybody. She's the foster kid mama. She's got her,
Oh, yeah?
I'll connect you guys, and it's, I think it's 1,000,001 kids. She's focusing on some foster babies, and adults. So
Right.
we donate a lot of our stuff. That's something he hasn't really brought up this conversation, but women, there's girls shelters, and then the boys. So we're donating our clothes, and
wow.
we're involved just trying to be a positive influence. It's not hard to get close to them, but you want to take time. You don't want them to think that you're doing this for the celebrity. But
Sure.
I'm really, I lived in a women's shelter when I was 7 years old for a few weeks with my mom. So I relate a lot more to things than the world has given me.
Yeah. Wow, Dannii,
Kind of any
I
credit
also
for.
think that
So-
timing is everything, and we still want to do a lot of things.
But I'm so open to things that, if I had all the money in the world, that castle would be packed with horses, 50 goats, some kids.
Right. Maybe
I'm
you'll
down
start
for
a
pigs.
sanctuary.
I'm very open. My mom always had a full house. We always
Hell,
had,
put some chickens and raccoons.
Chickens
over
are
there.
kinda
We'll have a
dirty, but I
Wolverine,
could
High on
deal.
Angels, any kind of living animal.
But
Don't
my mom,
care.
you'll get to meet her. We grew up kind of like saving things.
Yeah.
So my mom, we always had a big house. Like if a friend had a parent problem, they could stay with us. So I'm cool with things like that. And I come from a very mixed family. I have Jewish stepbrothers. I have an Indian nephew. I'm Sicilian Irish. My sister has a different dad. I come from a very colorful family.
Yeah.
Grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, from Jersey. So I'm like the Sicilian Irish, like redneck. So with class from Charleston somehow, But everybody, I'm open to stuff like that.
Bam, I can see why you married her. I really like her. I really do.
I like you too.
It's really
I have a girl
hard to
crush.
find people in our age bracket and you want to have as a new friend,
Well,
right?
I mean, look at what I get to look at
I know,
all day.
but forget like
who
that's,
wouldn't want to
that's
stick around this
obvious.
planet?
But that's an obvious
I
thing
get
that
to
people
look at
say.
that all day.
But
and night.
inside, she's amazing. I really like.
I love
her.
you too. We're like girl crushing all day.
Aw.
I'm obsessed.
Okay, what are your hopes and plans for the future then? What do you see? What are you working on?
Well, right now we're working on a Castle Bam documentary with the Derns, and just talking about all the stuff that's gone down. I mean, like, you'll pass like places in Chester County, like the Brandywine battlefield happened over here. Harriet Tubman was here with the Underground Railroad, historical landmark. You want a historical landmark? It's Castle Bam. I've had Iggy Pop play there for my wedding. Tony Hawk was there doing a McTwist. I got Billy Idol cutting off the roof of my Lamborghini. Slayer played the opening day I was there. I mean, the list goes on.
And the
there-
I have
skateboarders.
Prince's
So there's
soundboard
some
from
great-
Purple Rain.
there's some great
We've had
memories
bands
there.
like Clutch and
Yeah.
Danko Jones.
This place should be, I wish somebody would buy it and turn it into like a BAM museum. That's what it deserves, to
yeah.
where the skaters can always skate. BAM doesn't have to live there forever because people just don't know how to not come over uninvited at times.
We've been traveling so
then-
much. We spent 9 days total in the past 10 months of us being together.
Oh, wow.
Just because we've been all over the place. We spent most of the time in Texas at Black Rifle Coffee just because it's really cold in the winter in Pennsylvania.
Right.
But we were there.
See,
Our
like
manager
Karma
lives in
Water,
San
Black
Antonio,
Rifle
so-
Coffee, goats, a horse, BAM's skateboards. Like I have visions for this
Right.
place because it's
Okay.
like so, not that I don't think it's comfortable at all. I do love it. But when you walk in, it's like the more we're growing, I can just see like the way his skateboards are on the wall and stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
would be hard to let go of,
And are you going to do any merch that people can?
Yeah, well, I have this thing. It's
Karma
called a
merch.
heartogram. If you see that, it's like a heart and a star together. It was
yeah.
invented by Ville Valo from a band called Him from Finland that I've directed all their music videos. Fell in love with the band the moment I met them. But it's such a cool symbol that you can't patent a heart and a star. It's like trying to patent the plus sign. We
Yeah.
need it to do math. So like. Everybody makes all this cool heartogram jewelry, T-shirts, art, whatever, grip tape. But I want to start like a Heart of Bam website where people could buy and sell heartogram shit. Not
or
saying
just
that I'm
show
making
how many
her print
tattoos
it.
they have of the heartogram. I've seen
that's
a lot of
cool.
body parts with the heartogram.
Oh my God, I do
on
these
it.
Comic-Con signings and
They're
like
like,
every other
"Hey,
person
man,
has a
I got
heartogram tattoo somewhere.
Boobs out, butts out, so.
You're going on tour soon, right?
Yeah, well,
We're
I
trying
mean,
with this water.
we would like to just, we've enjoyed going on the road.
I love it.
Stopping at skate parks. If there's 3 people there, there'll be 30 there in a heartbeat, sometimes 300. But, I like to skate. She likes to stretch. We like to save dogs. We like to visit friends. I mean, any direction we go,
Got it.
there's going to be a
And you're
friend to
making
visit,
friends. I
something
mean,
to
I'll
do.
say it now. I mean, we met this girl, Geneva. They call her the drama mama on Instagram. Follow her.
A professional,
Roller derby,
Yeah.
basically. Hangs with the boys. But,
like
you know,
does backflips on vert ramps.
you know, but like,
Gnarly.
you know, very young breast cancer survivor, you know, heavily involved with the community and building a skate park. The skate parks are not in great areas a lot of the time.
Yeah, and in Roswell, New Mexico,
Roswell,
she coughed up
she's-
$500,000 to
she's
build a
got
really cool skate
yeah,
park
so
that I would
she's
like
in
to
the
help design,
process.
like FDR, which is a legendary spot.
Something
in
we didn't bring up.
Philadelphia.
You know, he's very good at design, this guy. I mean, if he could get in on the parks and stuff and help out and
Right.
get in with, because they need it. And no offense, because I love some pickleball, but how many tennis courts do we need? Because there,
Right.
you know, we have a lot and they're, or basketball courts. So it's like, we need to kind of slide skateboarding because it's safe. It needs to be in a safer area. Like
Sure.
some of these places, I'm like, I don't want to be here for long. I need that pit bull, and we're leaving.
Right, right.
So
do you think you would ever train kids? Do you think you'd ever do some sort of camp
Oh,
for kids?
yeah, I've thought about that. You know,
That could be awesome.
it's really
That'd be
fun
so
teaching
awesome.
kids to skate, and you know, believe it or not, because I've been on Jackass and done a lot of fucked up shit in my life. I don't know. Phoenix is the sweetest kid ever, and I want to keep it that way. You know,
Yeah.
he's just such a nice.
he's playing the violin. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll keep him on the violin and not
Yeah.
the skateboard.
Oh, got it.
And can I just mention?
Yeah.
I am in love with the Miami traffic. I am. Because we're
like
sitting in
Philly.
traffic. She's like, God damn it, I'm so frustrated. I just want to get to a hotel and put your balls in my mouth. I'm like, yes, I love Miami traffic. Hotel right there. Let's go.
And cut.
Well, you don't need a hotel for that.
No, we don't. There's that. You can drive.
Why would you love Miami traffic? I'll tell you why.
Oh my God, we could do this all day.
We can end it there.
We could
but,
do it all
wait a
day.
minute. Anything else that you want to share with your fans? Anything people should know? How to follow you? How to find out more about you?
I don't want to be followed. I like my privacy.
Got it. Okay.
Well, you wouldn't know that from your Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, you have been very, so you have 2 different Instagrams, I think, now. that I've seen.
I don't even run either one of them.
Oh, okay, got it.
And I don't blame
Thank
myself
God.
because back in the day, I get all larried up at 3 a.m. and type some shit that I
Right.
regretted, only to wake up to delete it again. And then I get drunk again at 3 a.m. and type the same
Got
shit.
Roseanne
It was
Barr in
pretty much
trouble.
the
So
definition
part of your
insanity.
sobriety probably is as keeping things private, even though you're a very public figure.
I
Yeah.
try to.
Okay. All right. Well, we wish you. Hang on. Go ahead. What? I'll edit this. Go ahead. Say something. Well, wait. If you want, do you want to say this on a mic? Okay. So
good.
don't. We're not going to edit this.
Okay, good.
Michael, for people listening, Michael Lohan is about to take the
He's
mic.
my
Is
flower
this
girl.
on?
I've been stalking them.
It's not on. Can I? Here, you can have my
Yeah,
mic.
it's okay. I just wanted to say one thing. I watched the interview, and I know Bam for a while now. What you see with him is what you get. That's the man that he truly is. He's got a great heart. He is so genius in the things he does, so creative. People don't understand him, and that's why I think it's so important he's on the show, because he truly is misunderstood. He's a great person, great dad, great husband, from what I've known so far. And I'm just really, it bothers me because I saw what happened to my daughter, and we went through so much. Guys, you have to understand something. This guy's completely turned his life around. I've been in the drug treatment industry for 16 years, and I see the pros and cons, and I see people that are real and the people that are faking it. This guy is for real. I'm telling you, he's going to be with us for a long time, doing the right thing, and really encouraging people to do the right thing themselves. So that's what I wanted to say.
Now we're crying.
Yeah. And the one thing I wanted to say about that is from
Thank
what
you.
I've heard you say, people have counted you out. You know, they've used the excuse that you've had trouble in the past. And so they kind of take away your credibility, like what happened with Jackass and stuff,
Yeah.
and making you do what they think you need to do to get better. And I think that's unfair. So
Yeah.
I think you should be given a chance. And I think that it's obvious. I mean, I've known you 24 hours. I couldn't believe how smart you are. Funny.
You know, he knows the
genuine.
capital of every country.
I do know that. That's insane. And
that was one of our first days. I was going to say because he's been to him over and over.
I feel like that, you know, I was just in such a bad place that everybody just beat me down so bad with just treatment and $1,300 a night and $800 sessions and just boom, boom, boom. You're not in Jackass. Well, I am Phoenix the Wolf. I've risen from the ashes, and now I'm back to fuck you up.
Well, the best part is also sometimes we know we have to go through all this stuff, and now look at all of the beauty. I mean, you realize who your friends really are, and you connect with people. Like Michael Quinn was trying to connect with him for a long time, and I had met Michael back in like just through Instagram, but just, you know, through the LA Fashion Weeks and all that stuff. But it's like, it really does happen when you start taking the trash out and you start doing people laundry. You know, I mean, I had to break up with a lot of people here. My heart was broken leaving here, but so much good has come out. And that's what I keep telling him. It'll get
Michael
better.
knows I was ready to hop in my spaceship and leave Earth. But
I know.
Right.
perfectly good reason to stick around.
And Michael, that was so sweet what he just said.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is beautiful. I'm
I totally mean it.
so excited to be here. So now we need to peel, push, and
You peel, pop, and push.
you peel,
Vitamins
pop,
go right down.
shake.
Karma water.
Hopefully it'll be on the side of
Also, like to give a shout out to
Yeah.
Black Rifle Coffee and Curiosity Donuts from Doylestown. They don't even pay me; they're just fucking delicious.
Okay, good shout out for them. All right, so we're gonna end this here, but Bam, Dannii, I wish you guys the best of luck. I'm so happy that we've become friends.
Me too.
I cannot wait for us to do
Yeah.
more things. Have
Me
you
too.
down in Florida more
Yes,
often.
I
I'm
miss
coming to
it.
watch you skate.
Oh, you're
Great.
coming over.
I'm coming to have you stretch me.
We're hanging out. Yeah, we're gonna go to
save-
Tampa.
Yeah, we're gonna save
You
some
need to
animals.
see how effective her
Well,
stretching
no,
is.
no, no. Wait till
Yeah.
you see her house is like a wellness.
No, we're coming over.
Pickle-
But we are going to save some pit bulls. We're going to
Yeah.
get into that some other time, probably you and I, and
Yep.
like we're going to
Save
talk
hers.
about that big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, love you.
Love
Good
you
luck
more.
Me too.
with
Love
you.
you guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Misunderstood. I'm your host, Rachel Yucatel. Please be sure to subscribe to the show and give us a 5-star rating and review. You can support the show by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/misunderstood with Rachel Yucatel. Do you have ideas for the show or want to reach out? Email us at info misunderstoodpodcast@gmail.com. That's spelled MISS understood. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.